welcome to Blue and Orange Classics 1986 playoffs. The Astros came in winning 96 games in 1986 in the Western Division. The Mets won 108 games. So it's the two best teams. It's only the second year where the division series is a best of 7, and it's set up to be a great one. Mike Scott, a former Met, has blossomed into a Cy Young winner. He's learned this split-fingered fastball. The Mets say it's a scuff ball. He's scuffing the ball. That's why it breaks that much. They couldn't hit him during the regular season, and no one could hit him down the stretch. Here he is pitching a no-hitter to clinch the Western Division for the Astros. Now that's some kind of, icing on the cake of a Cy Young season. So game one is set to be a pitcher's duel. We even have the Lord, Doug Harvey, behind home plate, known by the players as God or the Lord because he knew the rules so well. Quick, decisive, good strike zone. You can debate that, but he had a pretty good record among the players. And so you get the best ump actually elected into the Hall of Fame, and you've got Cy Young from the previous year versus Cy happening. The Mets could not hit him and were convinced he was doing something to the ball to make it dive. It wasn't just your normal split-fingered fastball. And so we pick it up here in the first inning. Keith Hernandez has some key at-bats. He has great career stats against Mike Scott, but he's blown away by the high heat in the first inning after Backman got on an error. Scott and Hernandez will have some great cat and mouse throughout the game, as both players are quite aware of the stats. They know that Hernandez has hit him well in the past. But it's going to be Dwight Gooden in the second inning who gives up the game's only run. Glenn Davis, the big slugging first baseman for the Astros, takes a fastball deep to center field in the Astrodome. The ball does not carry, so this is a bomb that Davis hits, and it's going to account for the only run. Not because the Astros didn't have their chances. They're going to load the bases twice with one out, and twice Gooden's going to get out of those jams, once getting Mike Scott to hit into the double play. As Tim McCarver says, strength against strength, fastball hitter, fastball pitcher. Look at everybody's eyes. Gooden, Davis, Carter, and Harvey. Drive that turned heads and prompted this on the big screen. Just an odd celebration piece. Davey and Mel standing in front of Doc's extra unis thinking, can we even score one off this Mike Scott guy? But you don't win 108 games from giving up, especially only down 1-0, and the Mets grind away, and here's Hernandez just being Hernandez. Human vacuum cleaner, the Gold Glove machine. Mex just eating it up and loves the true hop on artificial turf all those years in St. Louis. And in Hernandez's second at-bat, they show the stats, and you can just see Hernandez owns Mike Scott, even 5 dingers in those 53 at-bats. That's a much higher home run rate for Keith Hernandez than against most other pitchers for his career. And with no batting gloves on, true professional, ropes one into right. And, him and Scott going back and forth. I'm not going to swing over that splitter. Look how fired up Keith is. Come on, boys, we got this. He's not scuffing. Even if he is, we can hit it. Scott's like, well, I kept him in the yard. Shutout's still intact. There is the sweet swing of Keith Hernandez right there. Mets leader, Mets captain, Mets just, ooh. And he's still swearing at first. We got this. But it's Hernandez's third at-bat that really is pivotal in the ball game. And it comes on the heels of this Wally Backman at-bat. And Backman, not known for power, is really going to drive one the other way and almost put it over the head of Jose Cruz. A fantastic over-the-shoulder catch running into the wall. Dykstra, great base running. He was all the way at second. If that ball goes off the wall, he thinks he can score, but he can easily get back, and the Mets are swearing. We finally got a pitch we could drive. It's about as far as Backman can go the other way, and Jose Cruz runs it down. And unbelievably awesome camera angle as he hit it right at the camera. You see the third baseman waving, go back. He could tell he got all of it. As far as Backman goes, that's about all of it for Wally going the other way, batting lefty. And what a great catch by Jose Cruz. That leads us into Keith Hernandez's third at-bat. Mets feeling a little snake bit after that running catch. but we got our best clutch hitter up. After the pitch out for ball 1, Keith Hernandez gets the call from Doug Harvey on a borderline pitch. Then he just misses the 2-0 fastball with Dykstra running. Then we get to the next pitch, and ooh, Doug Harvey gives him the call. Borderline, calls it low. And now at 3-2 with the runner running, we find out that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Not even borderline, way outside, and Harvey rings him up. Hernandez is freaking out. This is a demonstrative argument. Obviously, this is nothing you would see. Look at both of them gesturing, get the mask off. And Davey's like, whoa, I got to keep my best player in. Whoa, Keith. Whoa, Keith. We still got that tying run on second. Whoa. And Doug Harvey's barking back. That's the way I saw it. Looked like Ashby said something there. When Darryl Strawberry is the voice of reason pulling you away, you know you're angry. And rightfully so. I mean, they're going to show the pitch again. Let's check it out in the slow-mo. Obviously, the Lord doesn't have slow-mo. But this, I mean, we're long before the strike zone box. But that is, I mean, it's low in a way. Based on the way he gave him the call on the previous pitch. Dykstra steals it easily. Should be first and second and 1 out. Instead, runner on second and 2 out. And they're still barking, and Doug Harvey, terrible call. But he lets them get their say in. Nobody gets wrong. It's the playoffs. And Mel Stottlemyre's like, you're still wrong, Mel. Sorry, God. You're wrong. Forgive me. Now it's Gary Carter. Mike Scott gets Gary Carter to end the inning and the Mets threat, leaving Dykstra at second. But Dwight Gooden, you know, he hung in there, and he got stronger as the game went on, and he gets through 7 innings. Here you're going to see him strike out the last batter he faces. And even he has a little moment with the Lord here in this at-bat. He drops this curve right through the strike zone. A much better pitch than the one that Hernandez got rung up on. And Doc doesn't get the call. And you never see that kind of reaction from Dwight Gooden. So he just returns to the heat with a terrible camera angle and just blows him away. Sit down. Let's go to the 8th inning. Come on, boys. Get a run or get Mike Scott out of this game. This is a taut 1-0 game in Game 1, and you're going to see this pattern repeat itself when the Mets get to the World Series, and a little bit of foreshadowing for that Game 1 of the World Series against the Red Sox. And so the Mets have their best chance now. Gooden's kind of mowed down the Astros. The momentum might be on their side. They're going to send up their best pinch hitter, Lee Mazzilli, and it's not going to happen for Lee. Lee's a great story, of course. He was a Met when they were, absolutely terrible in the Joe Torre managerial years for the Mets. And now he's back in '86. Their best chance. Danny Heap singles, gets on base. Dykstra singles. Now we got the tying run at second. Pinch runner Kevin Elster. And it's up to Backman and Hernandez. The table setters are on. This is it. Except no. And this Hernandez at bat is crucial. And I remember being a teenager watching this live. He's our clutch guy. 2 out, tying run on second. And you can see Keith's battling. He knows this is enormous to tie the game in the 8th with the heart of the lineup up. But Scott gets him with the high heat. And the score stays that way into the 9th inning. Mets down 1-0. Mike Scott looking for the complete game. Now, earlier in the season, on July 29th, the Mets played in Houston. Check out the sweet swing of Darryl Strawberry as he gets a 1-out single in the 9th inning. And if he could just have elevated that rope, maybe it's 1-1. But the Mets were down, so there's some foreshadowing and some flashback going on right here. So Mookie has an insane at-bat. 8 pitches. And it mirrors what he's going to do later against the Red Sox in the famous at-bat. He even dribbles one up the line there. But the Mets were down in July, and they came back. They scored 4 runs in the 9th. They knocked Scott out of the box. Strawberry hits a game-tying homer. Right here, you see Darryl steals second. Tying run is on second. 1 out. Mookie's battling. Yeah, it's going to be just like July, right? Except in July, after that tie happens in the 9th, everything goes wrong for the Mets, including giving up a game-winning homer that looked like this. light hitting Craig Reynolds takes McDowell deep for the walk-off. And the woes didn't end there that night, as the Mets had 4 players out at a bar called Cooters get arrested for getting in a fight. Ron Darling, Tim Tuffle, Rick Aguilera, and Bob Ojeda arrested in the wee hours after that same game. So this is interesting because the Mets are also going to score 3 runs in Game 6 against Bob Knepper. They're going to be down 3-0 in this same Astrodome going to the 9th inning, knowing that Mike Scott's going to pitch Game 7. So it's foreshadowing in that way too. Look at Mookie. The foul tip just barely gets a piece, and you're just getting that whole Bob Stanley at-bat vibe. And on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, Mookie hits a rope in the hole that gets grabbed by Glenn Davis. And Davis throws to Scott, who barely gets a toe on the bag. Now think about the baseball gods. Mookie rips one in the hole there. That should be the game-tying single to right field. Darryl come around and score. It isn't. Glenn Davis makes a diving stop. You get Mike Scott tripping over the bag, and he's out. Later on, in the famous Game 6 against the Red Sox, you're going to see the dribbler, and the baseball gods give him the right through Buckner's legs. So, you know, the Lord taketh, the Lord giveth behind the plate. And we see the baseball gods giveth and taketh, as you see Scott's foot just kind of nip the bag, and now we're 2 out in the 9th with the tying run at 3rd. And so the tying run is 90 feet away, and it's up to Ray Knight facing the Cy Young Award winner with the Hall of Fame ump Doug Harvey behind the dish. And the Hall of Fame ump gets involved again with the very controversial ball strike call. And Ray Knight does not like the call.
Right now is between Scott and Knight. 2-1. 2-2. And Knight screams over the call.
So you be the judge. Did it nip the corner? Ray Knight obviously thinks not. A 3-1 count versus a 2-2 count. Now he's got to protect against that splitter. Here's the slow-mo. Again, no K-box back in those days. Is it outside? Looks like it starts outside, stays outside. Ashby's not even framing it. He's just happy to catch it with the sink on it. Knight, he still cannot get over it. This is a worst-case scenario. The Mets already have Mike Scott in their head, and now he's in Ray Knight's head along with Doug Harvey. When the Lord is calling that, it may not be your night. Pun intended, Ray. And he goes down swinging, still has a few words probably for Doug Harvey. Scott looks exhausted, takes the ball. That one's probably one he still shows off to this day. The Mets in their horrible road uniforms take the loss in Game 1. Ray Knight's still talking to himself. They're all yelling at Doug Harvey, who everyone respects and loves, the Hall of Fame ump. What's with that uniform, New York? It should say New York. You represent your city on the road. It says Mets. Talk about uniforms, though. Who can argue with the Astros? So Game 1 goes to the Astros. Dwight Gooden, the hard luck loser, gives up just 1 run in 7 innings. So this is a blue and orange classic playoff game. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Blue and Orange Classic.